is the desired goal and supreme perfection of human life. One has to become confident about this, and one also has to be confident that all activities other than devotional service, such as mental speculation, fruitive work, or mystic endeavor, will never yield any enduring benefit. Complete confidence in the path of devotional service will enable one to attain his desired goal, but attempting to follow other paths will only succeed in making one restless. In the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, one must be calmly convinced that those who have given up devotional service to engage in severe austerities for other purposes are not purified in their minds despite their advanced austerities because they have no information of the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this we discussed yesterday, right? A little bit about how people are engaging in different austerities, but not taking to devotional service because they have no idea, and then they do not actually achieve the goal of life. We discussed few examples. Am I right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we'll continue further. Nirul Prabhu, you want to continue?
Sure, Prabhuji.
Unless you want to share something before we go forward.
No, Prabhuji, I think, as you said, we discussed this yesterday. So we'll continue and then we'll discuss more.
Yes.
It is further stated in the 10th canto, although mental speculators and fruitive actors may perform great austerities and penances, they still fall down because they do not have information about the lotus feet of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord, however, never fall down. In Bhagavad Gita, 9 chapter 31st shloka, the Supreme Personality of Godhead assures Arjun, Kaunteya pratijanahi name bhaktya pranashyati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes.
Okay.
Again in Bhagavad.
So, thank you. So how many devotees can remember this shloka in Sanskrit and can say without looking this 9.31?
I can say, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, go ahead. Suresh Prabhu. The whole
Neha
shloka.
Bikram, yeah, Neha Bikram Nastasthi.
No. 9.31. This one.
Prabhuji, I can say.
9.31 nahi, Prabhuji.
9.31. Okay,
Ryan will say Prabhu.
Ryan will tell. We'll start with kids. Okay, Ryan. Kids, all the kids know. Okay, Ryan, go ahead.
क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा सच्चान्तं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति.
Okay, excellent. Ryan, great job. Anybody else in kids who knows? Yeah, okay, Navya.
क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वत शान्तिं न गच्छति कान्तेय प्रतिजानाहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति.
Excellent. Excellent, Navya. Okay, anybody else? Any other kids who would like to say?
Prabhuji, Nivan wants to say.
Excellent, Niman, go ahead.
Do you remember this? Ante Pranesh. I don't know first.
Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat
Shipram.
shantim nigacchati.
क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वत शान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति.
Very good, excellent. Okay, anybody else? You want to say? Ansh wants to say loudly.
क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वत शान्ति निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः pranashyati.
Okay. Now parents. And who all are there who would like to say this without looking?
I can say I'd remembered it, but I forgot the first line. So when you said the first line, then I remembered it.
Okay. So Prabhu will start.
But it's on the screen also, Prabhuji.
Okay. So we should hide it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now.
Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanahi name bhaktya pranashyati.
Okay. Very nice. Who will go next?
Prabhuji, I can say.
Yes, Madhvi, go ahead.
क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वत शांतिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानाहि नामे भक्त्या प्रणश्यति.
Okay. Who else?
I'll go next, Prabhuji.
Yes, Madhvi, go ahead.
क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वतचन्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेयः प्रतिजानाति नामे भक्त्या प्रणश्यति. Hare
Okay, very nice. Hare Krishna. Who will go next? So this is a nice shloka to remember. All those devotees who have not memorized can memorize this. This is assurance of Krishna. Krishna is assuring. One can have full confidence on Krishna's words, right? And especially when Krishna is asking his devotee to declare, then it's even more valuable for Krishna, because Krishna even keeps the words of his devotees. When Arjuna takes a vow, for example, in the battle of Kurukshetra, that I will kill Jayadratha, and it was practically impossible to kill him. Still, Krishna helped for Arjuna to fulfill that vow. It was practically impossible, but Krishna made it possible. When Bhima took a vow that he will kill Duryodhan, Duryodhan was totally covered with the blessing of his mother, and his body was impenetrable. So, very, very difficult, but Krishna made it happen. Just give me 1 second. So this shloka, when we remember, it is great hope for all the devotees, right? Krishna's devotee will never perish. Okay. So we'll go to the next paragraph. Who would like to read from here?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, go ahead. Prabhuji, you can recite this without looking. This is what you were saying, right? So Suresh Prabhu is going to recite 2.40 now.
हाँ ये तो याद है तो.
Yes, Suresh, go ahead.
Yeah. So again, I have to start from here, right? Again in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again in Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Krishna says, "Neha vikram nastasthi pratyatyo ma vidate swalpam dharmasya tayate mato bhayat." In this endeavor,
Okay. So how many devotees remember this shloka? Neha vikram nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Okay, we'll start with kids again. Who would like to go first?
Vikramanashvasti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpa apyasya dharmasya trayate matovaya.
Who will say it? The kids? Yes, go ahead.
नेहा विक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमस्य अपि अस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
Okay, great. Who else will say in kids? Navya?
Prabhuji, Navya doesn't know this one.
Navya knows, I think.
I asked her, she doesn't. I know.
Okay,
that
who
she
else? Who else will share?
Prabhuji, Nivan.
Yes.
नेहा विक्रमणाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमपि अस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
Okay, great. Excellent. Now, grown-ups, parents, Suresh Prabhu already spoke. Who else would like to speak?
Prabhuji, I can say this
Yes,
one.
Mataji, go ahead.
नेहा विक्रमनाशो अस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमपि अस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
Great. Actually, next time we should have Kahoot quiz for recitation of shlokas. Whoever can recite the shloka without looking. Okay, who will tell next?
No, Prabhuji, we can give the meaning, a little bit hints of the sloka, and people can
Yeah,
recite the sloka.
exactly. We'll give a
Like the
little
Ram-
hint, and who will press the button will have to recite.
Like
Okay.
the Ram Prabhu was giving, Prabhuji.
Who was giving?
Ram Kumar Prabhu on that day.
Achha, that day, yeah. I actually couldn't attend the whole thing. Okay.
I asked him, Prabhuji, on that day, you can come to our Zoom class. He is ready for that, Prabhuji. तो आप बात कर लीजिएगा.
Yes, yes. That is great idea. Okay. Who else is going to recite this shloka? This is a famous shloka, Bhagavad Gita, we just did in the morning session 2.40.
प्रभु जी हालांकि मैंने प्रेजेंट किया है, मुझे तो थोड़ा थोड़ा आता है, बीच में भूल जाती हूँ मैं.
चलो कोई बात नहीं, ट्राई करो.
नेहा विक्रम नाशोऽस्ति, भूल गई, सॉरी. पहले वर्ड से थोड़ा सा याद है, मैं याद कर लूंगी.
Actually क्या कर सकते हैं, you can write these shlokas which you are intending to remember. एक पेपर पे लिख के आप लगा सकते हो अपने बेड के पास या फिर wherever you stay. मॉर्निंग में उठते हैं, जाते हैं, you know, ब्रश करने के लिए, तो put it on the side of the mirror and then watch it. So if you do it every day, in few days you'll remember. Very simple, very common, very famous shlokas. So these are the most famous ones. We are not asking to remember all 700 shlokas. Just the prominent ones, if you remember, then that will give great solace at the time when we are down. So these shlokas are very powerful vibrations. Okay. Mataji, anybody else who knows without looking? Okay, so everybody has opportunity now to read and memorize these two, 9.31 and 2.40 famous shlokas. Okay, so Suresh Prabhu, can you continue reading? What is the meaning of this?
Yes, Prabhuji. In this endeavor, okay, the meaning is that you are asking me, Prabhuji, or you?
Yeah, meaning is written, na? Now what you are
Yeah, meaning is written. It means it has been, I can explain in the general terms, like whatever the service you are doing from the Krishna or the chanting. I mean, say for example, you can start at any level and up to you ended up to this level. So then you don't have to start again in the next birth from the beginning. So that's what it means. Ki there is no loss or diminutions. A little advancement. If you are doing little advancement, even remember Krishna one time, then your credit will goes. That's why Yugal Kushal Prabhu always say your eternal bank account, which you don't have to start from the beginning. You have already some credit in that, and that is your bank balance, and then you have to start from there. So many examples are there, like the Bharat Maharaj and other great devotees. They don't have to start from the beginning. Even they took the birth as a deer, but he knows what he was in the previous birth. That's what
Very
the
nice.
devotional service is so pure and perfect that once having begun, once is forcefully dragged to
Okay,
ultimate.
you have not read this though, right? You explained it, but you didn't read this.
Oh, okay. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement of this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Devotional service is so pure and perfect that one having begun, one is forcibly dragged to ultimate success. Sometimes a person
Wow,
will give
this
up.
is such a powerful line actually. You read this line and and
प्रभु जी कौन सा श्लोक है
कौन सा श्लोक है माता जी?
रिमेम्बर करने का 9.31 and 2.40?
Yes, 9.31 और 2.40 रिमेम्बर करना है। तो कल की क्लास में थोड़ा रिमेम्बर
ठीक
करके
है, नहीं लेकिन ये किसमें से, भागवत में से है
भगवत
या
गीता,
गीता?
भगवत गीता,
भगवत गीता, गीता में से है ना?
गीता, प्योर भगवत गीता। तो ये this particular sentence is so powerful. Devotional service is so pure and perfect that once having begun, one is forcibly dragged to ultimate success. My God. दूर दूर तक ऐसा होने के कहीं आसार तो लग नहीं रहे हमारे, लेकिन प्रभुपाद कह रहे हैं. So that means devotional service, we still have long way to go to even come to devotional service, because if we come to devotional service, then it's so pure and perfect, then one would forcibly be dragged to ultimate success. Wow. Powerful statement. So only those who are relishing this, who are actually seeing, feeling the success, can make such a statement like Srila Prabhupada, right? He's actually feeling the success and experiencing. Okay, anyone else want to make any comment? Otherwise, we'll keep reading. Suresh Prabhu, please continue.
Okay, Prabhu. Sometimes a person will give up his ordinary material engagement, and our sentiment takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, and thus begin the preliminary executions of devotional service. Even in such an immature devotee falls down. There is no loss on this part. On the other hand, which is the gain of one who executes the prescribed duties according to his varna and ashram, but does not take devotional service, although a fallen devotee may take his next birth in low family. His
Okay,
devotional
Prabhuji, let's read before we
Prabhuji.
go forward. This particular section which I have highlighted, everybody can see, which I have highlighted.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
This is a shloka. Who can tell me this shloka? Whoever would tell me which shloka is this is going to get a surprise. You have to tell me. Anybody? Anybody has heard this statement before? Or no? Nobody has heard this.
Well, I think I heard it, but
You heard it.
I cannot connect with anything. So
You cannot remember any shloka exactly. Okay. Anybody else who can remember this?
I cannot connect it.
Yes, Prabhu, I've heard this. Is it somewhere in Bhagavad Gita where the
It's actually in Bhagavatam.
It's somewhere in the 7th canto, but I don't remember.
This is a famous shloka. I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah, you pulled Mr. Biden.
So, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17. So, devotees who like to take notes of the shloka, nice shlokas, can take note of this one. Please repeat after me.
Bhagavatam.
Yes, Bhagavatam 1.5.17. Please repeat. I'll say the whole shloka first, like all the lines, and then after that we'll repeat one line at a time. So you don't have to repeat right now. Just listen. This goes like this. Tyaktva swadharmam charinambujam hare bhajan napako athapate tato yadi yatra kvava bhadram abhudamushyakim ko vartha apto abhajitam swadharmata. So now please repeat after me. Tyaktva swadharmam charinambujam hare
भजन्
napako athapate
तो यदि
yatra kvava bhadram abhudamushyakim Okay, I'll say one line completely, then you repeat after me. Okay. Tyaktva swadharmam charinambujam hare bhajan napako atapate tato yadi yatra kvava bhadram abhudamushyakim
भद्रम अबुदमुस्किम
ko vartha apto abhajitam swadharmata.
वार्थ आप तो अबस्ताम स्वधर्मत.
Okay, so let's read the translation. Anybody wants to volunteer to read who has not read so far today?
I can read.
Yes, Madhuri, go ahead.
One who has forsaken his material occupation to engage in his devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while an immature stage, yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a devotee, through fully engaged in the occupational duties, does not gain anything.
Okay, so here there is a comparison between somebody who is doing his material occupations nicely, of being in a particular family, being in a particular varna, being in a particular ashrama. He's engaged, but he's not connected in devotional service. And the other example of a person who may forsake his material duties but takes to devotional service. And the comparison is saying one who has actually taken to devotional service, even if that person is not mature and he falls down, still there is no danger because he at least took to devotional service, right? Just taking to devotional service and starting to be engaged in devotional service in itself is a great benefit. It is just like, you know, you sometimes, for example, okay, I'll come to the example later because I don't have that much time right now. So here the point is that if once you have engaged in devotional service, even if you fall down, no problem. Still you can go, still it's success. For example, I'll make it simple for those who have gone in trains in India. Has anybody here not been in the trains in India? Most people have been to trains, right, in India? So like, for example, you are going in a train and you have a first class compartment ticket, right? And that you get down from the train to a station on the way, and you look at the station, and then the train starts moving forward. So now you go and jump to the last third class compartment of the train, right? But you have caught the train, right? So once you have caught the train, even if you are in the third class compartment, there is no problem, nothing harm. So once you have taken the train of devotional service, even if you fall down temporarily, or you slow down, or you wait, or you do, that is not as bad as not catching the train. If you miss the train of devotional service, let's say you stay on the station only, that okay, no, I don't want to go, this train doesn't look good, or whatever, then you missed the train. You don't know when your next chance will come. Is it making sense?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So this exactly is, Prabhupada is not, see, Prabhupada's statements are actually directly shlokas from the scriptures, even if he doesn't quote it. Like here he has not mentioned that this is a shloka, right? Nowhere he has quoted. And sometimes he purposely does it because he doesn't want to increase the volume of the book. Especially in the early days when he started writing, the paper were not, Indian government was not even giving papers to people because there was a shortage in those days for paper. So he had to request, beg, go to the government people, write special letters that this is very important. Then they will give him like a few papers within which he had to concise his whole writing. So sometimes he's just not quoting the whole shlokas. He's maybe just giving references, and sometimes not even giving references. And actually, great acharyas, this is the symptom of great personalities. When they speak, they don't speak what they speculate. No, they speak scriptures. That is the training which each of the followers of Srila Prabhupada has to get. What is that training? That whenever we are speaking, we have to speak the scriptures, right? We have to tell the shloka scriptures. That is how we have to train ourselves. That's why people are being encouraged to learn the shloka verbatim. Exactly. So that way, when we speak, we will actually speak scriptures. So this is an example. Prabhupada is saying sometimes a person will give his ordinary material engagements and out of sentiment take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and thus begin the preliminary execution devotional service. Even if such an immature devotee falls down, there is no loss on his part. On the other hand, what is the gain of one who executes the prescribed duties according to his varna and ashram but does not take to devotional service? So this is one shloka. Now the next line is also a shloka, and devotees will have to tell what shloka. Okay, who will read? Who will read this?
I will read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, read. This, just with this.
Although a fallen devotee may take his next birth in a low family, his devotional service will nonetheless resume from where it left off.
Okay, so which shloka is this?
Is it from Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji, or Bhagavatam?
Yes, Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita.
I mean, it is similar. There are few shlokas where you can relate this to, but one aspect, one shloka you can relate it to is what is the destination of the yogi who has not yet achieved perfection.
Really, that's from 6th chapter when Arjuna asks
Yes.
what happens to a fallen yogi.
So what is the, I mean, you can just tell the um, tell the few words maybe from the shloka, or tell the English. All are acceptable.
Maybe I'll have to find it. I just know that Arjun asked Krishna what happens to a yogi who has not completed his,
Yes, that is the one.
and so Krishna replies that he either takes in the birth in the family of transcendentalists, or he gets a higher birth.
Very good. Yes. This one. 6.41. Prapya punya kritam lokan. I think all the kids know this. Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashwati sama suchitam shrimatam gehe yoga bhrashto vijayate.
I don't know.
I think it's there in the kids' books. Maybe not. Maybe maybe I didn't include this time. Next time we'll include.
Yes, Prabhu, they know.
They knows, right?
I don't
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhu, Nandini remembers it. I think she learned it in the class.
Yeah, I thought so. I included. Prapya punya kritam lokam. Okay. Anyways, so this is another shloka where Krishna is mentioning the fate of the unsuccessful yogi, that even if one falls down or not able to get success. So I'll read this. And the unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. So what is happening to unsuccessful? He's enjoying in higher planets, or he's born to the family of people who are devotees, or who are very rich and aristocratic. So these are the places where he is being born. So it is very, very good destination for someone who has just taken to devotional service, and even if he or she has not perfected it. So here Prabhupada is mentioning, although a fallen devotee may take his next birth in low family, his devotional service will nonetheless resume from where it left off. So depending upon the extent of how much devotion the person performed, he will be born in that kind of an atmosphere. If it wasn't much devotional service, then he may not born in a very high class devotional family, maybe lower. But if he is performed good devotional service, then it will be born in a nice devotional family. Okay, we'll read the next one. Who will read this? Deepika Mataji, can you continue?
Yes, Prabhuji. Devotional service is a hetuki apratihata. It is not the effect of any mundane cause, nor can it be terminated by any mundane cause, or permanently curtailed by any material interruption. Therefore, a devotee should be confident about his engagement and should not be very interested in the activities of the karmis, jnanis, and yogis.
Okay, so Hare Krishna, which is this shloka? Devotional service is ahituki apratihita.
It is mentioned in Bhagavatam, Prabhuji. Hetuki apratihata, first canto, second chapter.
Okay, very good. First canto, second chapter. Yes, you are 66% right. Which
Yeah.
shloka? Is the sixth shloka. 1, 2, 6. Yes. So we can open it up. See, every statement Prabhupada is making, every word he is saying is from Shastras. This is called as Acharya. Acharya means whatever word they speak, they are actually in the scriptures. So this is very important shloka, one of the most important shlokas from the first canto of Bhagavatam. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti rathokshije ahaituki apratihata ye atma suprasidati. Ahaituki apratihata. Ahaituki means no no motivation, no material motivation. Okay, it's not that we are performing devotional service for some material motivation. कि सुख संपत्ति घरे आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का, right? So that is material motivations. These are material motivations when we are approaching God for these things, right? But when we are actually approaching God without this, and what is that? That is like na dhanam na janam. It is totally opposite. Totally opposite consciousness, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What? He's saying na dhanam, na janam, na sundari. So he's not asking for sampatti gharaye. He's saying na dhanam. I don't even want any of that. If it comes by Krishna's grace, we'll engage in Krishna's service. If it doesn't come by Krishna's arrangement, we will still engage in devotional service. Whatever comes, we'll engage, and whatever doesn't come, we'll live very simply. So that is the mood in which our acharyas have approached. So therefore, when we are doing some songs or some this thing, best is to stick to our sampradaya, because the sampradaya in which we are getting the knowledge from, when we chant the mantras, when we sing the song of the same sampradaya, then that is maximum benefit. It has the maximum potency. Otherwise, if the song is not, or mantra is not given to you by acharyas through sampradaya, through disciplic succession, then you don't get the maximum benefit out of it. Because this is like a connection to Krishna, just like a circuit. Circuit is completed when the connection is made. So this connection of disciplic succession is like the circuit. It is made when we connect. So therefore, initiation is important. Therefore, reading from the acharyas of our sampradaya is very important. Singing the songs of our sampradaya written by authors, that is important. Learning from those who are in the same disciplic succession is important. That way, we'll get maximum potency, maximum help. Now, there are so many other sampradayas. We don't disrespect them. We don't say that, oh, no, this is the only way, no other way. No. We respect them, but just like we may have respect for our neighbors' parents, we may have respect for our school friends' parents, we may have respect for our colleagues' parents, but we have our own parents also. And what we do is we have maximum loving reciprocation with our parents, right? And we learn from them. So similarly, we have maximum time we spend in learning from our sampradaya, and that is the beauty of this sampradaya, that we don't have any material reasons for approaching Krishna, and that is the purity of this process which attracts the heart of Krishna so much, because there is no material motivation. It is purely spiritual process. And that is why Krishna gets conquered by the devotees, this high class advanced Krishna consciousness. Ahaytuki apratihata. Apratihata means uninterrupted, regular devotional service. ये नहीं कि बस मंगलवार के मंगलवार करेंगे हम बस. It's not like that. Apratihata means regular, constant, every day. Every day we will take time to spend in Krishna conscious activities. Even if we don't feel like, even if we don't want to chant, we'll still chant. That is how we can practice this ahetuki and apratihata. Does it make sense? Any comments anybody wants to make? Okay. So this is devotional services ahetuki apratihata is also 1.2.6 Bhagavatam. And it is not the effect of any mundane cause This is very important. Sometimes you see people, they come to Krishna consciousness, and then devotees in the immature neophyte stage, they think, oh, पिछले जन्म में हमने कुछ जरूर अच्छे काम किए होंगे जिसकी वजह से हमें भक्ति मिल रही है. But actually this is wrong. कोई भी कर्मा की वजह से we don't get bhakti. It is not. It is causeless mercy of Krishna and devotees, because of which we get mercy. Not that we did something great. हम अपने कॉलर ऊपर कर लें कि हाँ, I did something very, very nice, that I'm in the previous life, that I have got bhakti now. No, this is not an effect of any mundane cause. This is totally causeless mercy of Krishna and his devotees, that we are given the it's an honor and privilege to get to read Bhagavad Gita, to get to be in the human form of life, engage in devotional service. This is not something mundane. And similarly, it cannot be taken away from us by any mundane reason. Like, for example, you can blame someone. Oh, iski wajah se main nahi bhakti kar pa raha. This person, because of this person, I cannot do it. Or no, not like that. It is not because of any mundane cause. This is totally spiritual process. Nobody can take away bhakti from us. If we don't take bhakti, that is us to be blamed. It's there, it is given to us. We have to just respect, honor, and gratefully accept it. So nobody can do. And it cannot be permanently curtailed by material interruption. No, it is not that by any material interruption, bhakti will stop. Some problem came, so bhakti will, no, bhakti will continue. And that is such a power of bhakti that even if death comes, still next life you get a chance for continuing for bhakti. So therefore one has to be very, very serious that bhakti, until and unless we willingly miss the opportunity of continuing with bhakti, bhakti will not get interrupted by any material reasons. We see so many devotees, so many acharyas, their example, materially the situation is so topsy-turvy, but their bhakti doesn't get compromised. That always continues. So we have to follow their footsteps. Therefore, a devotee should be confident about his engagement and should not be very much interested in activities of karmis, jnanis, yogis. So what are the activities of karmis, jnanis, yogis they are talking about here? They're saying their devotee should be confident about engagement and should not be very interested in activities of karmis, jnanis, yogis. So generally here where they're referring karmis, basically it means those who are following the process of karma kanda, right? Sometimes we use karmis for those also who are non-devotees and materialistic minded people, but they are actually not even karmis. They are even lower than karmis actually. Karmis means those who are following karma kanda process to go to God. Then the other aspect is karma yoga. They are much superior than karmis. And then the jnanis, depending upon their goal, they could be, you know, in the Brahmavadis or Mayavadis or different other states where they are, you know, somewhat similar to karma yoga or maybe a little higher or somewhat similar. And then the yogis, mystic yogis, those who are engaged in other kind of subtle sciences to learn the mystic yoga process or the Ashtanga yoga process. So all these things, they can actually distract us from bhakti. So a devotee is not very interested in getting engaged in any of those. Okay, anyone wants to make any points? Otherwise we'll go forward. Anyone?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right, so we'll quickly read this. Any volunteers who have not read would like to read?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, go ahead.
There are certainly many good qualities among fruitive activities, philosophical, speculator, and mystic yogis, but all good qualities automatically develop in the character of a devotee. No extraneous endeavor is needed. As confirmed by Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.12, all the good qualities of the demigods manifest progressively in one who has developed pure devotional service, because a devotee is not interested in any material activity. He does not become materially contaminated. He is immediately situated on the platform of transcendental life. However, one who engages in mundane activity, be he a so-called jnani, yogi, karmi, philanthropist, nationalist, or whatever, cannot attain the highest stage of Mahatma. He remains a Duratma or cripple-minded person, according to Bhagavad Gita 9.13. Mahatmanas. Okay.
So this is interesting. So again, Prabhupada is quoting here that there are so many good qualities even in people who are not devotees. But actually, that's not a problem, because when one becomes devotee, all the good qualities of the demigod starts manifesting into that person, right? Anybody knows this shloka? So today is, I think, the shloka day. Prabhupada is quoting all the important shlokas here. This is important shloka actually. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati yakinchana sarve gune tatra samasate sura aha arav bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena asti dhavato bahi. This is a nice important shloka, 5:18:12. Devotees can make a note of this also. 5:18:12. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagati kinchana. Clearly here it is said, see, we all want good qualities, right? But how to get good qualities? This is the answer. That all Devi Devtaon ke andar, jo demigods ke andar good qualities hai. All the exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculation and must engage in service of Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? So such a person is engaged in the service of external energy, the Mahamaya. And then Prabhupada is quoting here, who is a Mahatma? He is actually engaged in the service of internal energy. He is taking shelter of the internal energy. He is connecting the two in this. One is Duratma and one is Mahatma. Mahatma is what Prabhupada will tell in the next shloka 9.13. And Duratma is the person who is not engaged in devotional service. So this is how clear contrast is being mentioned, that even if these processes are giving some good qualities, that's okay. You can get so many good qualities by devotional service. So you're not losing anything by taking devotional service, because somebody can say, oh, no. If I do this yoga or something, then some good qualities, yes. But then devotional service is going to give you all of that also. Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so I think we'll quickly read because it's already time. So Mataji, you want to read? Continue reading. Yes.
Hanji Prabhuji.
Please finish this.
Mahatmanastu mam partha devam prakritim ashritah bhajante anasya manaso gyatva buddhatim avyayam. O son of Partha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Since all the devotees of the Lord are under the protection of the Supreme Potency, they should not deviate from the path of devotional service and take to the path of karmis, jnanis, and yogi. This is called Utsahan Nishchaya Dharya Tat Karma Pravartana. Enthusiastically executing the regulative activities of devotional service with patience and confidence. In this way, one can advance in devotional service without hindrance. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Great. Thank you, Mataji, for it. Okay. So I think this we had already discussed. No comments from me. Anybody else would like to add anything to the discussion? Any questions, comments, points, any?
Bapuji, I have a question. I'm sorry I missed what you said about train because I was choking, so I went to get water. So can you repeat that about the train part?
About the train part, yes. So anybody else who could understood the example which was given about the train? Nirmala Mataji could not understand. Anybody else who was?
No, I wasn't here. I went to get some water because I was choking.
She went out to get some water. Okay. Those who were here, anybody understood that example? Or nobody understood?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Nirbhay Prabhu, you got it. Can you share?
Yes, Prabhuji, so what you said basically, if we, just like if there's a train that is leaving a station and we want to get on the train, even though we were earlier in the first class when we got off the train, so that is being equated to our devotional life. Like, let's say we are in top class devotion right now, that is equated to being in the first class. We got off on a station, equated to our devotional service got hindered for a little bit, and we fell off, or we are being limited in our spiritual progress for a little bit for whatever reason. And then as the train is leaving, we still get on to the train, not in the first class, but at least in the third class. Still nothing is lost because we are still on the train that is eventually, which is being equated to the devotional service. So we are still on the train of devotional service, which is going to lead us back to Godhead. So even though we fell off the first class, we are still on the train, which will finally get us to our final destination. So that is what I understood. Is that clear or is it confusing?
Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing. So basically, I think this is not a very refined example. This I was just giving a crude example to understand that just by taking to devotional service, like even if you catch the train in a third class compartment, still no problem, because you will actually come to success. So similarly, if you take to devotional service, even if it is not very nice, even if you think you are not a very first class devotee, even if you are falling down at times, there's no problem. You've caught the train, even if you are in third class right now, doesn't matter. You will come to the first class, just stay there, stay in the train you're going towards. And even if you are, in whichever class, doesn't matter. Ultimately, you're reaching your destination, your goal. So just stay there. So similarly, a person who stays just in devotional service or bhakti, he will get perfection. No matter there may be so many shortcomings, no matter we may be having fall downs, no matter we may be less serious, but we have to try to increase our seriousness, try to do more, try to come out from our comfort zone and practice whatever way we can. And to the extent we take steps, to that extent Krishna will make things more and more favorable. Does it make sense, Mataji?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you to all the devotees. We'll end it here. Very, very grateful for the association of all of you. Vancha kalpatarubhyash kripa sindhubhyaya patatanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Krishna.